Welcome to the EarthWorks podcast, where our team will share the jargon of carbon from many of our turf friends from the past 30 years.
Hi, everybody. This is Joel Simmons, and we are live here at the GIS Trade Show in San Diego, and we've been having a blast. We've been talking to old friends, new friends, and we've had the opportunity to put a lot of folks on our couch and have them chat about their experience with the GIS this week and with EarthWorks. Jack Higgins, our favorite agronomist from the East Coast, has been sitting people on the couch for the last 2 days and talking to them about their experiences. So enjoy this week's podcast. It's just a bunch of clips live from here in San Diego at the GIS. Thank you for everybody that came by and saw us. We had a wonderful time at the House of Blues. We had about 250 people standing here yesterday for our little cocktail party that is our tradition here on the floor at the GIS. And we also brought the microphones and had a chance to talk to a lot of folks. So that's what we're going to be doing this week here on the EarthWorks podcast. Thank you so much.
Our first guest on the couch at the GIS is our old friend Dave Peterson, who is currently the superintendent at Silvermine Golf Club in Norwalk, Connecticut. And Dave has a great history with us. His uncle was one of my business partners who helped me start the company, a gentleman by the name of Mark Newsom. Jack gets into this a little bit. I think you're going to enjoy this conversation.
I'm sitting here with Dave Peterson, and Dave, thanks so much for sitting with us.
Of course.
I love the old EarthWorks connection that you have with us. I'll say you're Mark Newsom's nephew.
That's right. The famous Mark Newsom.
The famous Mark, who really help us put together all these granular products. Yeah. He was a connection on
the
that.
mad scientist.
Yes, he is. Yeah. But dude, you and I met actually long before I worked for EarthWorks. I went out to California visiting my buddy Pete, who I graduated with, and you graduated Penn State a year behind us.
A year behind you guys.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So you're 08.
08.
But you guys were working together at Pebble.
Yeah, so Pete actually, I knew Pete from Wingfoot.
Okay.
We interned 1 year at Wingfoot together. He graduated, went out to Pebble. I was getting ready to graduate, and I didn't really know where I was going to go. And Pete texted me or called me. I can't remember. He said, "Hey, there's a spot at Pebble."
Yeah.
He was like, "I get $50 if you if I can refer somebody or something like that."
And $50 goes a long way.
I was like, "Yeah, go to Pebble Beach." So
that's big money when you're buying beer.
So that was it, man. And we.
I stayed at your guys' place. It was like it was a greenkeeper house, is what it was.
Oh yeah.
You know, there was someone was sleeping in the garage.
That was me.
Yeah, okay, that was you.
They stuck I don't know why they did this. They stuck a couple pastry chefs with us too, which was not a good idea.
Yeah.
They had like the exact opposite schedule.
but the eclairs were tasty. Yeah.
Oh man.
No, we had a bonfire on the beach. We hung. Dude.
Yeah.
It was it was a real cool Northern California scene there.
It was awesome. That was, I call that my 2-year vacation.
Right.
It was like right in it was 08.
Yeah.
So the financial crisis.
Oh yeah,
right?
dude. It was not a good time to come into the golf industry.
No, not really.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Not many industries were good at that time.
No.
But Pebble Beach was perfect. They're
pretty well
established.
Buffered. Yeah, they're buffered from the ups and downs.
I had come from 2 internships at Wingfoot, an internship at the Catanzit Club.
You guys hosted an open at
in 06,
right? In 06. So you were on that crew at Wingfoot.
Right. So, we're working 100-hour weeks that year. We're working 80-hour weeks most of the summer everywhere else. And then we get to Pebble Beach and they're like, hey, it's 40 hours, we can't make overtime. So I call it my 2-year vacation.
Wow. Yeah, different.
Totally different.
Well, you've been at Silvermine now how long?
I've been at Silvermine for 5 years, going into my 6th year.
All right, dude. Yeah, excellent. Excellent. And you've done a lot of work there. You've mentioned because what's the property like? It's
smaller. It's 27 holes.
Okay.
But it's a shorter course. It's the acreage of an 18-hole golf course.
Okay.
So we've got about 5,400 yard main 18, and then there's a shorter kind of par 3s and 4 executive 9, we'll call it. It gets a lot of senior play and a ton of junior play, which is really, it is the quintessential family club. Right?
Oh, that's great.
It's very blue collar, nice little private club, like something you would find. I always say it's like a Vermont club.
That's right.
Kind of country course stuck in Fairfield County, Connecticut. It's like
right.
the only one.
It's good to have that option. Then,
it is its own thing. It is unlike anything else in the area.
Yeah. I was there once. I think your first year I was out with
yeah.
you. I remember like a big red barn kind of out on property.
Yep.
It's got character.
Probably the only golf club that has the first thing you see is the maintenance shop.
Okay. Well, it's cool.
Big red barn. It used to be a dairy farm.
Right. So it's got character.
Yeah. It's cool.
Old POA.
Yeah, fairly old. It was built in 59 and 60. So, older, but not super old, and some bent mixed in with it. So.
Cool. Now you mentioned a cool anecdote about Renovate Plus.
Yes. Yeah. We were chatting about. I had used Renovate Plus on kind of all the greens for a couple of years with good results, and then
regular aerification,
just standard aerification,
right, and across all of it.
Right. Then I was doing some of like the sand-based greens that I wanted to kind of. We've got like 7 USGA greens. The rest are push-ups. So I was trying to kind of balance them out a little bit. So I was throwing some Renovate just on those to kind of see if I could hold a little bit more moisture at top, and that seemed to work pretty well. And then I got down to all these hot spots on greens that are just driving me crazy.
Right.
So I had a guy go and hand aerate these small spots.
Now they're driving you crazy in that like you're having to send a guy out with a hose chasing these areas, perennial spots, same time. Yes.
A lot of sand splash from bunkers, that kind of stuff. Where you put a soil probe in the ground and there's this much sand.
Right. You're like, okay, this is why it's wilted.
Right. You need somebody standing over that thing with a hose all day long. So I said, we don't need to be chasing this stuff around. Try to be a little bit smarter about it. So I had a guy go out and hand aerate those spots really tight. So we got a bunch of holes in one spot, and then we just kind of dumped a bunch of Renovate on it.
Not the 10 pounds per thousand rate.
Oh, no,
you
went
like the
bag,
chicken feed rate.
Yeah, like take this bag and just do this.
We've got 10 square feet here, but let's hammer it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you get it down in the holes.
Down in the holes, kind of swept it in. So there's still a bunch on top as well.
Right.
I would do this in the late fall, like after all our cutting is done.
Yeah, so you
just
don't
kind of let it sit there for the winter.
That's right. You don't have the threat, because if you do that, it still is like fertilizer. If you do that when it's 90 degrees out, you're going to want to follow it. Yeah. So. But okay. So you do it late fall after everything, and now what was it like the next season?
It was great. I mean, we had much less hand watering of those spots. It really evened them out. So, how hot spots are. You water them and they come back, but by the end of the season, they're a little thin, or they're just kind of off color, and they don't match everything else. So, so much more uniform look to them after.
Excellent, dude.
Except for the one the guy threw 5.45 on.
Yeah. Now that's a little more push. Yeah. Okay. So what was that? So,
you got to change the color of your bags.
Okay. He grabbed the wrong bag. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 of our holes, he grabbed the wrong bag, and we did the same thing with 5.45, and it was like January. And I'm like,
Whole golf course is dormant.
Right, yeah. Everything else is brown. There's like green spots coming. I was like, something different happened.
Which one did you use?
Right?
Here?
Like looking at the analysis on Renovate, they're like, did I miss something in here?
No, that was 5.45.
Yeah, maybe
and that'll light it up, baby.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't burn.
So, no burn.
Okay,
no
good.
Burn. No burn. It was greener than everything else for a while, but then it evened out by the summertime, and it really.
It was strong.
Did pretty good.
Okay, good. Dude, well, that's cool. Yeah, I appreciate you sitting down with us, telling this story. And I look forward to getting back up there.
Yes, please come visit anytime.
All right, thank you, Dave.
Great talking to you,
Jack. All right, thanks.
All right.
Our next guest on the couch is John Haywood, who is currently at Sleepy Hollow Country Club, and I believe is on the podcast. And Jack and he catch up and have a wonderful conversation. So take a listen to Jack Higgins and John Haywood.
All right, sitting here at the booth with my man, John Haywood.
Up,
Thank you, John. All right, I'll give you one of these, one of those. All right. Well, we were just on the podcast together a couple weeks ago, and you had me out at Sleepy, and we did it from, I think, the 14th.
We were on the 15th approach, overlooking the 16th hole. And
beautiful, dude.
A little chilly out that day.
Yeah. It was windy, it was cool, but it made for a nice setting.
It was.
Yeah. So, how's the winter going for you?
Things are good, man. We've had a really good, finished up the fall real strong.
Yeah.
All of our cultivation practices, got all of our EarthWorks products out. And,
excellent.
And, greens are covered, and we've actually had a nice winter.
You cover them up?
Yeah, we covered them all up.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, so everything's covered.
Do you have to play the on and off game with that?
Every year is different. It depends on the winter.
We've had such a cold...
But so far this year, it's been great. There's been not even a thought or a talk of lifting a cover or doing anything. So
now, do you think that will come in March?
It always does eventually. It just depends on when that time will be.
How many years have you been covering?
So my first year, I started at Sleepy in January of 22, I believe.
Okay.
And we suffered some significant winter damage that year. So
I remember that one.
We decided that moving forward, it was going to be in our best interest to cover all the greens.
Yeah, I remember that one. In fact, I remember it at Morris County. Actually.
Yep.
Yeah. They had that punch bowl green.
They had the damage. This was the same year.
Right, that was the same year. Yeah. I remember Nick was telling me about that. And I bring up Morris County because, of course, you were there for many years. Yeah. Okay, so and because it's all POA, it's POA at Sleepy Hollow, right? Or POA,
Yep. So they're all USGA spec greens. With the POA sod stripped off and put back on.
Yep. When was that work done?
That process was done, I believe, in 2015, 2016.
Okay.
So well before my time.
Okay. How is any thatch issues, thatch management with the sand-based greens?
Yeah, there's a little bit more than I would prefer.
Right.
And, that may be a result of the sod being cut maybe just a little bit thicker than it could have been.
But that's something that you've been punching through and taking care of.
Yeah, we've been trying to hit the the ISTRIC displacement chart around 22 to 25% every year.
Oh,
so we've been pretty aggressive.
Very good. Moving water, getting it to infiltrate, doing the whole thing.
Exactly.
All right. So what's on tap for coming out in the spring? You guys have, I know that Sleepy's on the USGA's docket. Do you hosting anything coming?
We have nothing, set in stone yet. We've been chatting with the USGA a little bit. So hopefully those talks will continue. The feeling was mutual that we had a successful mid-am in 2024.
Wildly successful,
and despite the inches and inches of rain.
Well, that's how it was successful, dude, because they were still able to do all that work. That's what was so key, man.
Yeah, we had a really good team, still do, and they busted their balls that week, and we did a lot of squeegeeing, and we had enough volunteers ready to rock, and it worked out well.
Yeah. All right, good. So, regular member play coming up.
Just a regular member play year coming up.
All right, good deal. Any projects? Any rebuilds or
nothing large? We're starting to do a lot of in-house drainage, inspecting sewer cameras, GPSing. And then we're going to start working towards a master drainage plan in the future.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. What does a master drainage plan entail?
So usually we would bring in a drainage engineer, and they'll come in and look at our problematic areas. And then
are you thinking sand curtains? No,
we'll be doing a lot of ADS perforated pipe. Some of it covered in a perforated sock, and then we backfill it in sand. A lot of catch basins around the property. So there's a lot of
buried catch basins.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
Fair. Do you ever have to do those in fairways, or do you try and move that right to rough?
Yeah. No, there'll be catch basins with surface inlets on the surface.
Okay.
And then that'll take some surface water out of it, and then there'll be collector drainage running from basin to basin, taking groundwater out.
Okay. Cool. So now, EarthWorks wise, what sort of products have been key for you? Which ones have you used?
All of them are key products, but the ones that we use, I would say the most are probably 545.
Okay.
And we use that a lot around green surrounds and bunkers and traffic areas.
Managing traffic.
Yeah, it does a really good job of just getting a nice, good organic feed out there.
Yeah, that's right.
Works really well. And then with our aeration, We do Renovate Plus in all of our greens and
love it.
And approaches, and then we did 333 also on approaches and tees.
Oh, you use C3 as well, I know.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we spray C3 every month. And we started using Boost in combination with that
Boost
this
has
year.
been good, dude. Yeah, it's good.
As
the other thing I remember learning that you and I talking together was at first you were using C3 and it was you were timing it with a water in, and I was like, you don't have to, you know, like you can leave that up top and you'll get the response, gallon per acre. You don't need to push that down. Yeah. So which I remember you saying like, this made it a lot easier to use.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good.
Definitely.
Good. That's cool. Yeah. So C3. Are worm casts a major problem for you up there?
They have been.
Okay. Have you seen any reduction?
It was hard to gauge this year because it was so dry.
The drought fall.
August through Thanksgiving.
Dude, it was insanely dry.
So the worm castings were basically non-existent.
Right. So, but it's something to keep an eye on.
Definitely.
All right. Well, good. Yeah, moving forward, you're saying C3 and Boost will continue in the program up there. Okay, good.
Absolutely. Every month.
Yeah. Well, I'm psyched to get back up on property, man, and we'll hang out.
Brother.
All right. Yeah, it is a stunning place to be.
It's a special place.
Yeah, it's very special.
Yeah. Awesome, brother.
All right. Thank you, H. Yeah. All the best.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Our next guest is my old friend Mike Keown, and I go back many, many years ago with Mike when he was up in Vermont. He is currently at Seabonic Country Club out on the east end of Long Island. And Mike is one of our favorite people, one of the better superintendents we know, and has been a guest with me on the podcast.
How about that we've been a relationship for the past 25, 30 years.
It's the best.
I've known Joel for damn near 30 years. How long have you been on with
I've been on for 15, but you started with
So it was Country Club of Vermont with Paul Scaffis. That was 25 years ago.
Jeez.
Jeez,
yeah.
And we use it, watched the whole product line develop, and have been partners together with soil samples.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right? You have,
And testing and just continuing to build stronger plants at the cellular level is really what we went from just having good looking grass to
now good soil,
really
strong
soil and cellular level of strength.
Well, so give us the update at Seabonic. How are things going this winter? What's going on? You got any projects over there?
Everything's great. We have had a colder winter this year.
Yes.
Than the past.
Like an actual freeze.
We have actually had a cold winter,
Mm-hmm.
where we're a lot, we were dormant, tanned off grass early this year in early January instead of more towards the mid-February, latter half of February, really seeing that dark, dormant period.
Well, things stay cold out there. Like that's a battle.
That's a battle for us.
You started with 822 and saw something out of that.
Yes, used 545 for years.
Right.
And we have moved to the 822. Economically for us, it works because of the acreage that we have.
That's right. You're a giant property.
We're 54 acres of shortcut turf.
Oh my gosh.
So that's a handful for us.
And being out east like that on the water, it's very cold. And you saw this push with that ammonium sulfate.
Yes, we do. So we have the benefit of the fall golf months, extended fall, as opposed to the western side of Nassau County or Westchester and in the Jersey, where temperatures are starting to get a little cooler. We tend to hold a little bit more temperature into the later fall months, which is nice for carbohydrate storage. And
That's right. Absolutely.
And building a stronger plant for the winter and then getting prepared for spring. On the flip side, we have a very cool, cold spring.
Right.
And it takes May, really June, for things to really start moving again.
Yes.
What we find is that with the EarthWorks line, is that we see a greater response in the spring every year the more we use it.
So what was your timing on that 822? When do you get out with that?
Just between us girls?
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
That's fall.
Yeah, that's right. No, exactly. You use that in the fall. Yeah. You see the response in the spring. Yeah.
It's a deep fall application for us.
Yes.
Yep. We don't necessarily like to call it dormant.
No, it's not.
Because it's not.
It's not. You're still pushing carbohydrates down into
we still have great color. At that time of year, it's by no means a dormant feed.
No, not at all.
But it's a fall application.
Because you're still pushing those carbohydrates down into the ground.
Yes, exactly. We're trying to develop a much larger carbohydrate reserve.
You need
for winter and then getting in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been very successful with it. Our relationship has been such that we're constantly trying to improve on what we have.
That's right.
Especially now with the C3 out. And Boost.
Yeah, bro.
Boost and C3 together has been a home run.
It's a heck of a color.
It is. It really is. Between color,
wear tolerance.
Wear tolerance. There's something to be said for the wear tolerance. We have fine fescue colonial bentgrass fairways.
Oh, interesting.
That do not handle cart traffic very well at all. Since COVID, we have seen a lot more rounds of golf, like the whole industry has seen.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, since incorporating those two products into our program, we are seeing such a low degree of stress.
Yes.
And or response from irrigation or from rain after the stress period has set in.
Yeah, right. So
we have a lot of pinch points there.
Mm-hmm. The shape of your place is interesting.
A lot of pinch points.
Bunkers that come out.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and we're such a club that we try to keep roping, card arrow signs, stakes. It's not something that's part of our style of golf.
It does not fit in the motif.
It doesn't fit our motif at all.
No.
So, we do get a little creative at times, but we have found this year that incorporating C3 and Boost together, especially, was a big advantage for us.
Heck yeah.
Really.
Oh man.
And and it's funny because you don't want to try to be smarty pants all the time, but when you start trying to work things at the cellular level, and that's where I keep trying to stress this cellular level of cell wall strength. The stronger those plants are, the more they're going to be able to withstand.
And that's calcium and phosphorus.
Calcium, phosphorus, and potassium.
Yes. Yeah.
And so what we find is that using this product line has been a home run for us.
Ah, dude, I love it.
You can't. The proof's in the pudding, right? They say.
Yeah.
And we're very.
You've taught me so much, man. I'm telling you, and you've been so good to me for so long. I really appreciate the relationship.
We've had a great relationship.
Yeah.
We really have. And
great.
We're looking forward to many more years.
Yeah, I get excited every time, dude. So it's fun. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Our next guest is Luke Newson, who is at Rockville Golf Links out on Long Island and is an old friend and has been with Jack on the podcast. And Jack sits and talks to him about some of the things that Luke is going through as well.
Luke,
Jack,
one of the early EarthWorks podcast guests.
Yeah,
I think like the first three. Yeah.
COVID time.
COVID time. Yeah, we did it on Zoom. It was great.
Exactly.
It was great. But now we're here sitting at the GIS. Good time. I appreciate you being. You were at the party last night too, bro. Thank you.
The House of Blues.
Yeah,
good time.
And that worked out really well. Yeah,
it was very good.
Yeah.
Party for you guys.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We got another party coming up soon.
Okay.
That's what we do. So how was the year by you? How's Rockville?
Good. Normal year going through, and then really dry fall.
Okay.
Droughty fall.
Super dry fall.
Yeah. Was installing irrigation during that, so
all right.
Too fun when you didn't have water on half the course for 6 weeks.
No.
So
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Need a jackhammer to get through the soil.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, did it work out? Were you able to get it done?
Everything worked out. Got everything in the ground. Touch up on some sod and pole lines.
Okay.
Left to go, but overall, pretty easy.
Now, Do you feel like you were able to put the place to bed like the way it should, or you
to a point, but it just actually froze up out on us.
Right.
South Shore Long Island usually doesn't freeze hardly ever, but it was frozen like start of December this year, so a little different than normal.
Yeah. I'm worried about turf that was dormant from drought that really didn't get much moisture before it went dormant.
We were lucky enough; we got most of it done, and some recovery sprays and everything. And we are still aerated in September, so those holes were open and everything, so we were able to get some in and a little wetting agent to help it out.
What I love, so a couple things. You and I get to talk about, and we bring up carbon sequestration a lot.
Yeah.
And we talked about it 4 years ago, but it's becoming more and more. It was actually just discussed quite a bit in our last podcast with Laura Decker from the microbiometer. But she's saying like there's going to be carbon credits. Like people are going to get paid to do this. And you brought this up 4 years ago.
I mean, anytime you go to lobby day, like even New York State, or you listen to some of the grassroots ambassador initiatives, these politicians talk about carbon credits.
Right.
It's just,
and you're growing.
Coming. We don't know when. They keep telling you 5 years, but it's still just such a buzz phrase in politics that we'll see. It probably is that 5 years out, but.
Well, and we build soil organic matter. Yeah. That's what our industry does. You know, that's what you're doing out there in the field. You're you're humifying the soil. The other thing that a key aspect of humifying the soil is mycorrhizia, and you were one of the first to be using myco across the golf course. Like myco was a popular greens product in aerification, but you were like, hey, I aerify fairways. I think there could be benefit here.
I inherited just such almost like a plow layer, because it was just solid tines to a certain depth for a while, just to open it up. They just started aerating fairways and everything else, including greens. So just anything to get in there and get the soil acting like soil, get any type of that soil biome and the diversity in there. So we had some problem areas and approaches and fairways that we aerated, and they weren't recovering quickly. And Bucas was out there and had some bags in the truck of 333. We tried it in spots and spot treated, and it helped those areas. It helped, and so it just became part of the plan. And now it's not just greens and tees. We do 2 apps on fairways when we aerate this year. And
what rate do you do with that?
I think we're at about 5 pounds a thousand.
Yeah, well, see, and it's relatively low. Like it's not much,
it's not bad.
But you get response. Yeah. Like that's kind of the big thing I want to point out. Like,
we buy 4 pallets and we do about 28 to 30 acres with it.
Right.
So I mean, it's pretty cost effective and everything too. Especially that spring, it just gets everything going.
So that's like a tenth a pound of nitrogen, but you see a fertility response out of it. It's more than just the end that's going on.
We see a lot too, because we're very low end down there anyways.
Right, and that's the other thing I wanted to bring up. Like minimizing inputs is a key, and we're trying to minimize fertilizer inputs. It's for minimizing inputs, but also for playability. You don't want to push a lot of top growth, and you don't with this.
We don't. I mean, our club's very playability first. That's the directive from membership. They can deal with a little brown and stuff here and there and dry. I mean, South Shore Long Island with POA, we do get dry, and we're better off if we are dry. So it's nice that the membership buys into that. So having stuff that helps the roots and rooting early on and everything like that really helps us prepare for that push in the season. I mean, we're club championship all of August too, so it's like we got to peak in August when it's the hardest to peak, but we get to aerate right after Labor Day, and
then you throw it in there.
That's when we do another wave of 333 then too, to kind of get it ready and going into the fall. So we get 2 good shots, before the season really, with that fall and spring.
Is that essentially the only granular fertility that you're using?
Yeah, that's all I do. Everything else is sprayed.
I figured, yeah. And you get out with C3 on that
C3's
too?
Yeah, C3's at least probably every 3 weeks, peak season. And then we mixed in that boost this year too with the C3.
That's really, such a key POA product, dude.
Yeah, for POA.
what do you see out of it?
We saw a lot of green, and it was a lot of durability this year we saw. I asked some other people that used it. They kind of saw the same. It's the only really new thing we added to the program this year.
Just handling the traffic, handling the pressure.
We're 104 acres, and we do 28,000 rounds, 25,000 cart rounds. So, I mean, there's nowhere to take it. We encourage them to drive on fairways. And our walk paths are also fairway height. So we encourage them to drive on all that stuff, so we're not just torching the rough.
Right.
We've only got 24 acres of rough on property, and most of that's between fairway and tee.
Right.
So it's hard to take them anywhere, and not a ton of cart paths and everything either. So anything we can do to just kind of beef that up, but we didn't see as much this year with that boost. But even when you do see the traffic, to spray that in C3 on the tail end of it, it helps really push it out and get it back to where it needs to be. I mean,
absolutely.
We've used other products, and we still do use some with that high P, but I mean, that option of mixing it in with C3 and not worrying about
compatibility. Yeah,
and knowing that it works with it, because I'm always scared to do that with the humic and everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because P can be very finicky. Yeah,
exactly. So it's nice when you're mixing up a fairway tank and you're not worried about wasting 300 gallons.
Oh, man. That's key.
Yeah.
That's key. I just also want to point out the other way cool thing that you did in a lot of your construction was you did not want to get any bent grass out there. Like there was because you did so many fairway expansions and green spill offs and everything like that, and you used POA plugs for all of it.
Yeah, we just didn't. We wanted everything to match up. You know, it was with Jim Urbina.
That's
we
right.
wanted it to match up. We didn't want to use bent grass because they play so much in the shoulder seasons at our place. You know?
Right.
In November, December, and then March and April. And then they want the carts and everything too. I mean, even this year we had carts out there in December with, in between the ground freezing and thawing and everything. So it's, we wanted to match up, but we wanted to take it. And bent grass sod wouldn't have been right ever.
No, it
would have came in. It would have been terrible. So aeration plugs rolled it out. We mixed in the 333.
Exactly. That's
then
the other
we
thing.
Using the 545 on top. We'd mix in a little bent seed with it too. But I mean,
just to help knit it up.
But you can't see any of the sod lines either because it was huge expansions and it's removing bunkers and adding fairway back and everything. So you just didn't want all those little islands out there. It worked out, and it's just easier for us because we did it in house, so nobody was flipping sod.
Yes. Oh, it's the best, dude.
So
it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yo, thanks for the update.
Hey,
thank you.
anytime.
Yeah.
Appreciate
And I
it.
appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no problem.
Our fifth guest is Tim Falvey. Tim is at Inwood Golf and Country Club, and this is a friend of Jack's that they have gone back quite a while, and they've had a lot of fun together over the years, and I think you'll enjoy this conversation with Tim.
Tim, thanks for sitting down with us, bro. My buddy Tim Falvey.
Yeah, how you doing, Jack?
Inwood Country Club.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about Inwood. Tell everyone where it is.
So Inwood's located on the south shore of Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
It's directly across from JFK Airport.
Yeah, so it's cool to be at your place to see the flight path.
Beautiful property. You're staring at airplanes coming in. You're staring at Manhattan skyline. Sun setting over that. Beautiful property. Awesome historic golf course. A lot of history there.
How old?
1901.
Damn.
So 124 years now. A lot of the history there that's very cool and they take pride in is a U.S. Open.
Okay.
Won by Bobby Jones, 1923.
Yes.
And then the PGA won by Walter Hagen, 1921. So,
whoa.
Yeah, some very cool.
Quite a bit of history.
Very cool stuff.
You got a beautiful clubhouse too. Yeah.
Very historic. Sits kind of right, center of the property, overlooking everything.
But it is very low lying. It's on the water.
It is. It's on the water. You're pretty much, the course is at sea level. So
presents some challenges.
Yeah, very challenging. Constant salt issues, flooding at times, things that just other golf courses most of the time don't really have to deal with.
Right.
Lack of courses on the water like that is. But awesome spot.
What have you've been there 2 years, 3 years?
So July will be the start of my third year now.
Okay.
Started there at an interesting time of year, 2.5 years ago.
That's
July.
right.
Took
Yeah,
over
that's
in
right.
July. Had never seen the place. It was extremely hot and dry. But it's been a really good 2 years so far, and looking forward to what's to come.
You've done a lot of work there. I know a lot of drainage work, but you've rebuilt some greens, some bunkers.
I have, yeah. They've been doing projects every year, contracted out, knocking off a couple holes at a time with bunkers, drainage. But I've also been blessed to be able to do my own work and my own renovations and my skid steer. Done some bunkers myself this past fall. Some drainage in those, and we're having XGD show up in a couple weeks. They're going to do some slit drainage, so doing all the right necessary things, to make it better.
Oh yeah, excellent. So you were just telling me before we got started here that about this past year was your first year with the 555 program.
It was, yeah. So John Bucas,
our man Book.
Yeah, Book, one of the best out there, introduced it to me, and said you want to give it a shot. And obviously, I've always been a fan of the EarthWorks name products. They seem to work great for me.
You use C3 first,
and I had been using C3 already, so I'm a big fan of that product. Big fan of any type of kelp seaweed extract product that's out there. I really like that, and seems to work. And the C3 especially, other products along that line, I don't see, when I open up the jug of C3 and I just get a whiff of it, there's nothing that stinks like that.
That's right. You know it's going to work.
And it seems to do the job. So, yeah, that kind of got me on board with the 555 program, and I figured I'd give it a shot. And as I had just mentioned before, I was on a regularly 2-week program with it. I do it on Mondays before we'd have outings.
I like that factor. Yeah. So you have regular Monday outings.
Regular Monday outings.
And you can't get out there on
every
those
week,
days.
And it's just impossible. On an 18-hole course, you have 140, 150 players. I mean, that's 3 groups on every hole almost.
So there's no opportunity for afternoon watering.
There's just no chance. I can't get out there, and so I use it to my advantage of a water and spray, soil spray with these 3 products. And last year, this past season, which was also a pretty difficult year.
Challenging, big time.
For most guys, it seemed to have worked out really well for me, and very happy with the outcome.
Yeah, good. And even immediately on those Mondays that have been so difficult, like you're saying, like it helped on those days.
It did, yeah. I think one of the things it helped with was just that heavy traffic. Like I said, you have 150, 60 guys out there trampling the greens when it could be 85, 90 out.
And also guys that aren't members, like guys that aren't there all the time.
This is just all pretty much public golfers that are there from the outside, and half of them are there to enjoy themselves and not so much consider the golf course. So,
I got it.
It seems to have withstand all of that, and the amount of outings too we do. It's not like it's every every single Monday, the whole season long. And the greens were really healthy throughout the whole year too.
That's good, dude.
That's good. It's been a great product.
So the XGD you mentioned, when are they putting that in?
So they're on kind of finishing up right now in Atlantic out east there, and as soon as they're wrapped up, they'll come our way, and just gonna do 2 holes this spring. But
what's your material in the curtains? What in the backfill?
So they're going to anywhere that they're doing 2-inch, they're just going to backfill with your just regular divot.
It's like a 622 sort of.
622 backfill with that. Anything bigger than 2-inch, they'll throw in some 3/8 gravel on top, and then backfill with some 622 as well.
Good.
I think in some of the rough areas they just may backfill with the native right over. But it'll be beneficial, especially for these 2 holes that we're doing it on. A lot of drainage issues and flooding over there
down by the water.
All along the side. So
excellent. Well, and we've seen that Renovate and Myco can be very beneficial in those XGD lines as they're maturing in the first season or 2. It could be something that you pre-mix in, or it could be something that you kind of focus in on during aerification, maybe double passes over those areas.
No, definitely. It's a great thought. And with that project in the fall, we stripped one of our greens as well. Took the sod off and reshaped the green and laid the sod back. And I definitely went out there with
some
Myco on there underneath that sod once we put it back, and I've been doing that since I've been there.
That's a game changer.
With any type of ground, projects, moving dirt, putting sod down. I mean, important that I get that out first, and it seems that within weeks, you've got roots that are.
And when it comes to chasing sod, whatever you can do to help it knit up faster is going to make a big difference.
Exactly. So got a couple projects still lined up for this winter, and yeah, I'll be slinging plenty of that out there underneath it.
Bro, I appreciate you on the fly sitting down with us to chat, man.
Yeah,
this is good, Tim. Thank you. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right.
And last but not least, we have our friend Oli Poole, who is a influencer for the EarthWorks for Home team and is a wonderful enthusiast for EarthWorks and has done a great job. You can find Oli Poole at Fescue Freaks on the internet. He does a nice podcast, and he does a great job of growing some incredible lawn grass at his house. So take a listen to Jack's conversation with our friend Oli Poole.
Who knew that we'd run into our old pal Oli Poole at the golf show, dude? What a nice surprise!
Thank you.
That's right, he's here. Yeah, man. So you what do you think?
I'm enjoying it.
All right.
I've never been to anything like this. I've only been to like the expo.
Okay.
So I didn't really know what to expect, but I'm enjoying it. So
yeah, it's a good group.
Yep.
It's a good group. So how are things back in North Carolina? How's
slow right now? It's a little chilly.
Yeah.
We're starting to get some soil temperature.
Okay.
Starting to see a little green around the edge of the asphalt, concrete stuff.
Uh-huh.
So it shouldn't be much longer. We're going to start popping off.
Well, let's talk about what you've done, putting it to bed, and what your plan's going to be fertility-wise moving forward this year. So what was your last app of the year?
333.
Okay. When did you go out with that?
That was October. I don't know the exact date, but it was in October when I overseeded in 333.
Okay.
Was my starter fertilizer.
Okay. Were you any 822?
I didn't make it. I wanted to do some 822 to end the year.
Okay.
To be my winter right.
I
take that back.
Okay.
I done some C3.
Okay.
With Protein Plus.
Yep.
And a little kiss of 822. I did.
Okay. Good.
Yes,
good. So that was more like December time.
Oh man, that was in November something.
Okay, all right, cool.
I got some pictures with some time stamps. That's my
all right. That's the way you do it. Yeah. All right. So you did an overseed with the Myco, and then a couple weeks later you came through with C3 Protein Plus NE22.
Now also on my overseed.
Yes.
I ran the 333 at 10 pounds per thousand. And I ran the C3 at 6 ounces per thousand.
Okay, good, dude.
So I got a gallon today.
And did you get a good take on your new? Yeah, absolutely.
Had some phenomenal pictures after that. Some great germination, and like I say, I was looking to seal the deal with the 822, and
at a heavier rate, but you wound up going out with it at a lighter rate, and that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So what's the plan for the springtime?
Well, I guess what I'm gonna do is let it get woke up.
And you're going to see a lot of response from those.
822.
Yeah, from those apps in the fall.
I'll probably take it a little easy in the spring because my place is known to get really aggressive with top growth. So I'll probably chill out a little bit. I know I've got a lot of the 822 left in the soil.
That's
ready
right.
to rock.
That's
So
right.
I'll probably just start off with C3.
Okay, good.
And some Protein Plus.
Yeah. So start with the liquids, and you'll maybe get through with an 822 app Memorial Day time or like middle May, something like that.
Last year I mainly ran liquids last year.
Okay.
Because I, felt like I had a lot of top growth, so I mainly stuck with the C3 and the Protein Plus, both at 5 ounces per thousand.
Every once a month?
Every 30 days.
All right. Excellent.
I would like this year to maybe kick up the Protein Plus a little bit and see what happens.
All right. Well, let's do it, dude. I'm happy, man.
I'm happy now that we have both Protein Plus,
yes,
and C3 in gallons.
Yeah, in the gallon jug.
A whole lot easier.
Yeah, a lot of people are liking that. It's easier. You're all spraying it with a sprayer anyway. Yeah, so great.
You can top off your old hose-in sprayers. You can put it in your backpack sprayer.
Right. You can do whatever you want.
I got a commercial sprayer, and I run it in a commercial sprayer.
Yeah.
It works everywhere.
All right, buddy. Cheers.
Hopefully that was good. There you go.